Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Garage, the Court of Public Opinion. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter Clayton is right there behind the camera. How are you, Peter?
I'm good, mate. How about you?
How's the football going?
Fantastic.
Okay. I wouldn't know, but he's happy.
I am very happy.
He's happy. He's a Port Adelaide supporter, you see. There was some good news there. Yes, that's true. Good news and bad news on other fronts this past weekend. The good news, well, the Banana Boogie Bakery at Belair has just won the trophy for Australia's best vanilla slice. Now, how about that? I love vanilla slices and Chester cakes and finger buns. I mean, oh, God. No, not good for you. I'm sure they're not good for you. Nothing that tastes that good could be good for you. More good news. The Cranker, the Crown and Anchor, the historic pub and live music mecca, has been saved. Winning the Premier, I have no doubt a few votes along the way, because he took front of stage to announce that. The bad news, you would have heard that Black Caviar died a day before her 18th birthday, and sadly the foal that she had given birth to just that morning has died as well. Now this horse captivated the nation. It's a story. It's a Phar Lap-like legend. She retired in 2013, 25 wins from 25 starts. Don't get no better than that, folks. Taking almost $8 million in prize money, a remarkable champion, and deserving of whatever trophy or monument can be dedicated to her. A true legend, Black Caviar. To attack Peter Dutton as, what did they call him? A heartless racist, is quite contemptible. Oh, I know it's politics. But the point is, he's perfectly right. There should be a complete halt to immigration that involves a war zone. Parts of the world that are in turmoil. You can't pick individual winners and losers. You can't. We can't give people sanctuary without certainty. Certainty that they are who they say they are, and they are not a danger to us. When you're coming from this particular war-torn part of the world at this time, it is a risk that no government should take, frankly. You have to err on the side of caution. We're talking national security. I would prefer the government to turn it around and make each refugee prove that he or she wasn't a terrorist sympathiser, which of course I'm sure they couldn't do. But only when we are certain that a person is not a risk can that person be considered for settlement in Australia. That is the responsible thing to do, if it's possible. Much was made on Sunday by the Insiders program on the ABC that the refugees were checked in Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Turkey. These countries wouldn't take them, even though they are of the same religion. Are they heartless and racist? I haven't heard anybody accuse them of that. I don't believe a refugee has the right to choose whose refuge he accepts. It's not a shopping list. The first country you get to, surely, that's the one. Seems to me to be pretty simple. A big demonstration in front of Parliament House. You might have seen it, refugees after being here in Australia for 10 years. They are demanding residency. I can understand that. Look, I don't know if this crowd is a problem or not. Or if there are problems, how many problems there are. Are they a danger or an asset? Don't know. My issue is, do they embrace Australia, an Australian way of life, our values? Are they contributing? Are they on welfare? Do they have qualifications? Are they employed? Just basics. Do they speak English? Or are they learning English? Do they accept our laws and our customs? If not, they should not be allowed to stay. You see, it's not a matter of demonstration. To me, it's a simple matter of you love us or you leave us, as it would be probably in any other country, comparable country in the world. What else is around? According to a poll on the weekend, JWS Research, I think it was, most Australians want a complete ban on the advertising of gambling. That's on TV, radio and online, overseas and local. That is what the people want. The government's first responsibility is to the people. We the people. Not the TV networks. Nope. The media? Nope. Gambling causes a lot of misery. A lot of misery. Divorce, bankruptcies, domestic violence, poverty, even suicide. You can't dress it up. It is what it is. Not totally, but generally bad for the community. All of this is a replay of what went on prior to the introduction of poker machines in Australia. I think South Australia was one of the last states to embrace poker machines, legalise poker machines. And they had crazy reasons. They were lobbied, of course they were lobbied. There's a lot of money involved in it. But you know, if you don't legalise poker machines, all that money's got to go across the border. Sure. Everyone knew it was a bad idea at every level. And once they're in, you can never get them out. All the same thoughtless arguments, you know, jobs, big profits, money, oh, and taxes. Oh God, yes, taxes. Great for local businesses. And then there are all the entertainers who will benefit. No, Pete?
No. No, that didn't happen.
No, it was what was trotted out. Never a mention of the misery, the broken homes, the addiction, the bankruptcies. Some of you might remember Ina Harwood, a lovely, lovely lady, a glamorous TV star, Beauty and the Beast. She was on the panel with Pat Furman and Eric Bohm was the Beast. I think she was with the panel when John Laws was fronting the show as well. A family friend of ours for many, many years, Ina Harwood. Gambling, poker machines in particular, ruined her life. She lost her beautiful home in Bellevue Hill, died in misery. They can't or won't do anything about the pokey palaces. It's too late. Government is, of course, the biggest addict of poker machines. But they can do the right thing now, and they can do what the people want, and that is ban the advertising of gambling.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
17 years, it would be 17 years, I sort of lose track of time. It would be 17 years after the Howard government's intervention in the Northern Territory. This was because of child abuse, domestic violence. A debit card was introduced in this intervention, a ban on alcohol, a ban on pornography, and an increase in policing. Those are the sort of the basics of the intervention. A good response to an emergency. The current Northern Territory Police Commissioner, Commissioner Murphy, has spent time recently apologising for the intervention, which saved lives and restored law and order to his territory. Now we've got to stop tap dancing around this stuff. John Howard has come out and he's stated in no uncertain terms that his government did the right thing. Damned right. Damned right he did the right thing. A big inquiry last week, you may have caught up with it at some level, looking at the shocking number of Indigenous women and children who are murdered or just plain disappear without trace. I've never heard so much glossing in all my life. People don't just disappear. It's domestic violence. Aboriginal domestic violence on steroids. The government looks the other way so fast I'm surprised its head doesn't fall off. And what was the finding of this inquiry? What was the result? As far as I can see, nothing. Concern, yes, concern, crocodile tears, a lot of talk about culture. And all the time, Aboriginal women and children are murdered or disappear. How are you going to inquire into something like that when nobody will talk to you? This is the sort of thing which the Howard government's intervention was all about. He did something. He did the right thing. What will the Albanese government do? Listen, Albo, forget the voice. Do something useful. If you care about Aboriginal people, an intervention, a war on Aboriginal domestic violence. You know that $600 million you spent on that useless referendum would have been far better spent on this. It really would have. According to the Herald Sun, which I saw online, I'm not a subscriber, so I don't get to read the whole story. It's just something about paying for things online that gets up my nose. It's like all those pay things on television where you have to pay to watch television. I don't do any of that. I hate it. But from what I saw, the Victorian public servants, including those earning up to $240,000 a year, are about to share in a $300 million one-off cost of living payment endowment. Now, this is as business and households and families brace themselves for not only the cost of living crisis, but also the prospect of increased taxes. $300 million to be given to the public servants to subsidise their already huge salaries. That is shocking. I mean, that is beyond shocking. I reckon it's inexplicable, to be quite honest with you. Come Friday, when we're talking about things around the dining room table, I want to talk to you about New Age funerals. It's amazing what people are concocting. I suppose there'd be people of my age who are thinking how they want to depart the planet, shuffle off the mortal coil. And of course there's a business out there that will supply any strange exit you could possibly think of. And we'll try to get to that. I also want to talk to you a bit about this long COVID problem. It's costing over $10 billion. It seems like there are about 1.3 million people suffering from long COVID, and it's not a small problem. Never ever little to talk about when we get around the dining room table, I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen. And this program, as of course the program on Friday, jeremycordeaux.com, 3 hours live streaming where you can call us and all the rest of that, is brought to you with the very best wishes of a couple of very, very good companies, good friends of ours. The Rising Sun Inn in particular, this lovely old, I haven't added up the years, Pete, I don't know what, 1845, would that make it?
Yeah.
Anyways,
170, 180.
so, they're coming up to a significant anniversary next year, which I'll keep you across. But it's a wonderful pub, in fact, been named the best pub or inn in South Australia. It's heritage listed, handmade bricks, beautiful open fires, lots of atmosphere, fantastic cellar, a great menu, fantastic kitchen, great chef. And whether you're planning an intimate dinner for two or something more grand, it can be a wedding reception or a product launch, talk to Grant at the Rising Sun Inn, and he will make you feel very, very welcome and give you fantastic value for money. And speaking of functions and things to do, just before I get on to the dates, I saw this which kind of tickled my fancy. From throwing a gay pride party, necessitating the importing of drag queens from Australia, costing the Australian taxpayer $35,000 for the night. Now that wasn't just for the drag queens, you understand, that was the whole shebang. Our ambassador to the United States, our diplomatic party animal, Dr. Kevin Rudd. Well, when did he become a doctor, I wonder? I wonder what he's a doctor of. Dr. Kevin Rudd. He spent a further $15,000 on, have you heard, Pete?
No.
A barbecue. I mean, not having a barbecue, buying a barbecue.
A $15,000 barbecue.
How would you spend $15,000 on a barbecue? Our tax dollars. In fact, on Friday, what I might do is get on the phone and ring around some of the barbecue shops, see what you could buy for $15,000. Never heard of such a thing. I really don't know. Anyway, I'll just rattle off a few dates and then leave you in peace and promise to see you on Facebook tomorrow morning or whenever you tune in. And of course, when Andy puts it up on his podcasts. August the 20th. Happy birthday if you're having a birthday or a wedding anniversary. 1896, on this very day, the dial telephone was patented.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Golly. How would you do it before that, I wonder, Pete? I suppose you'd have an exchange, wouldn't you? An operator. You'd ring the thing on the side of the old Ericsson, of which I have one over there. Yep. And it's so sad. I see a lot of these Ericssons come up at auction, and they sell for nothing, and they're beautiful. They're pieces of furniture. They're lovely. 1908, America's Great White Fleet arrives in Sydney. 1908. Arrives in Australia to be greeted with a tremendous welcome. 221 American sailors desert. They want to stay in Australia. Yeah, look, I don't blame you. That's good. Although Pete and I got plans to go to America, haven't we? Yeah. British Prime Minister Churchill says memorably on this day in 1940, says of the Royal Air Force, never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. 1940, same time, same day, the first Polish fighter squadrons arrive to serve alongside the Allies in the Battle of Britain. Isaac Hayes, American Southern soul musician, singer, songwriter, Grammy Award, Academy Award winning composer, the theme from Shaft. Let's see, he was born in Tennessee. He died in 2008, but he was born this day in 42. After 108 years, on this day, a message in a bottle put in the sea by UK Marine Biologists Association announced to have been found on a beach on the island of Amrum in Germany. Took a while to get there, folks. Australia Post's not quite that bad. Don't be like that. Phyllis Diller. I love Phyllis Diller. She used to come on my show regularly on 5DN. Phyllis Diller, lovely Phyllis Diller. American comedian, actress, dies from natural causes. She was 95 years old. And on the same day, 2017, Jerry Lewis, the American comedian, Martin and Lewis, and of course he was the man who organised those wonderful telethons that raised so much money in America. He dies at 91, both on this day in 2012. East Germany begins erecting a 5-foot-high wall along the border with the West to replace the barbed wire that was there up until August the 13th. That was in 1961. Fabian Gottlieb von Bellingshausen, Russian explorer who discovered the continent of Antarctica, born in Estonia, 1779 on this day. The things for which this day is famous. Jacqueline Suzanne, American author, Valley of the Dolls, born Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She died in 74, but born this day in 1918. And the year 2, that's 2 AD, 2 AD, Venus and Jupiter in conjunction. Possibly the astrological explanation for the Star of Bethlehem. Wow. Which means that Jesus wasn't born on year 1 at all, it was year 2. Interesting. Andrew Garfield, British-American actor, the amazing Spider-Man, Hacksaw Ridge, born Los Angeles, 1983. Slobodan Milosevic, President of Serbia, from 91 to 97, Yugoslavia, 97 to 2000, born Yugoslavia, died 2006, born this day in 1941. The first pilot to parachute from an aircraft, 1929. Doesn't say whether he landed well or happily. 1913. Why don't you just jump out of the plane and try this new thing we call a parachute? I don't know why people jump out of perfectly good aeroplanes just for the fun of it. It's weird. Anyway, thank you for joining us here in the Court of Public Opinion in the Garage. Peter Clayton and I, Jeremy Cordeaux, will be back with you tomorrow. Believe in yourself and thank you for viewing the Court of Public Opinion.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.